Finally, today we have Kentec. For over 30 years, they have evolved into one of the world's leading life safety control system manufacturers. The Kentec name has become synonymous with world-class products, great service and excellent support. Based in the UK, Kentec is a global supplier, exporting control equipment to over 90 countries worldwide and in many different languages. Following their presentation, you'll be able to join in the live Q&A.
Now, this particular presentation is about how we face the challenges of dealing with waking watch. And the technologies we're going to talk to you about today are our EVAC-POINT panel and also the ekho wireless solution. So the Waking Watch Relief Fund was actually put together by the UK government, and it helped to pay for the installation of fire alarms in high-rise buildings and with dangerous cladding. And this fund was approximately £30 million. That enables our installers and end users to put in place the right protection systems for detecting and also evacuating those occupants that are at risk. Now, this funding, first of all, was targeted at the cities with the most high-rise buildings and obviously with unsafe cladding. So the funds are available for fire alarm systems installed after the 17th of December 2020. Now, the Waking Watch Relief Fund is also in tandem with the Remediation Fund. We believe this is about £1 billion. And this is intended to help remove the ACM cladding from those buildings at risk. So this has certainly given us an opportunity as an industry. I'm not just talking about the fire alarm industry, but the building industry as well, to review and reconsider the importance of fire detection and evacuation systems in tall buildings. So we're going to talk a little bit about BS8629 and one of the key features of the EVAC-POINT panel. And I think you'll see this as a really compelling technical solution for a very challenging situation that's been presented to us. So why was BS8629 introduced? Well, it's a code of practice published back in November 2019, a standard which was to enable installers and specifiers of products to effectively put a system in place that could overcome the problem that was generated by what we saw at Grenfell. And the recommendations now is that all blocks of flats above 18 metres should be provided with a facility for the fire and rescue service to initiate, evacuate, to provide alert signals to the flats. So it was considered that a standard needed to be produced to give everyone an ability to provide a workable solution, and this document has now led to the publication of BS8629. So what is an EACIE? Well, it's an evacuation alert control and indicating equipment. So just to give you an idea, the EACIE was not intended to be used as a fire detection system. But what we're finding now is that end users are looking for an answer and a solution to a bigger problem of waking watch costs and also evacuating. The EACIE has to be really simple for the fire brigade to operate. As we know, the fire brigade do a wonderful job in evacuating buildings and putting out fires. And this is working in tandem with them. So we had to come up with a simple solution based on the requirements of BS8629, but also what end users and specifiers and consultants and installers were asking from us. So post-Grenfell, there's been a lot of discussion about making existing high-rise residences safe for the occupants while the cladding is on the outside of the building. Before we talk about the technical elements, we really have to explain what the financial impact is on all of us. We don't normally sell fire detection systems into these buildings. But there's about 85,000 of them, which are between 11 metres and 18 metres in height. London alone has 6,000 buildings above 18 metres. And you know that there is a big impact on the occupants of these buildings. Give you some ideas about what the average monthly cost is. Per building, it's reckoned that in England, the average monthly cost is just over £17,000. In London, it's slightly more than that. We're talking about £20,000 per building. Now, if you actually take that down into what an individual is paying for this wake-in watch, well, you're talking maybe between £300 and £500 per dwelling. So the wake-in watch actually overcomes part of the problem of getting people out of a building very quickly. It's very costly. It's a temporary solution. What we're looking for is a more permanent solution which people can trust. And that's why we developed the EVAC-POINT panel. The reality is we all know in the fire alarm industry, it's actually very difficult to evacuate people. But at least with the EVAC-POINT panel, in combination with the ekho devices, where we have a unique opportunity to provide voice-enhanced sounders, we've got a much better chance of evacuating people quickly. So it can be done floor by floor. And again, this is to avoid blockages in the escape routes. And the fire and rescue service can have total control. They can decide which floors to evacuate and when. It provides a phased approach. Whilst they're evacuating each floor, the fire and rescue services can be diverted to actually tackling the fire and not just evacuating the people. Importantly, EVAC-POINT is really easy to use. From an installer point of view, it's actually really easy to commission as well. Let's explore how the EVAC-POINT from Kentec does help the fire and rescue services. Our bespoke specials department capabilities in coming up with a panel that was already working on our unique features of fire sprinkler control panels and manual override panels. And we just combined it into something which was really easily ordered by an installer. So each panel is built on this modular basis so that it can be purchased off the shelf, but modified by the installer. And one of the other things that we thought about was how do we get this panel not only evacuating a building, but communicating with people. So we thought about how do we alert vulnerable people. Now we can do that with integration into systems like Telecare, but also Vigilinks, another product from Kentec, allows SMS and also emails to be sent to different user groups. The panel is built in mind for the installer and also the end user. And one of the things that Kentec wasn't too sure about was, do we really need a vandal resistant box? This does add quite a large cost to the panel. But everyone knows with Kentec, with our special build panels, they're robust, they're secure, they're made out of heavy gauge steel. So we wanted to consider that not every building or application requires a vandal-proof resistant housing. Importantly, the components behind the main panel are EN54 Part 2 and EN54 Part 4 approved. It's based on the ultra-reliable Synchro AS architecture. Installers like choices between wired and also wireless devices, and also the protocols. So we're really pleased to confirm that the Synchro AS architecture allows us to work with EMS wireless devices, for example, and also the ekho wireless devices. It can be Apollo or Hachiki protocols. The choice is really down to the installer. So it can be really simple, or it can be made into a more complex system. And that's where we can combine the system to make it a fire detection and also an evacuation alert panel. You might have to work outside of BS8629 and have a real hybrid fire detection system with an evacuation and alert system at the same time. Okay, so what Kentec has tried to achieve here is giving installers and end users the opportunity to go through a phased transition. So whilst the building has got the cladding on the outside and has got the wake-in watch in place, there is a need to have a fire detection system if you want to remove those people from walking around your building at the cost of a wake-in watch. Now, this can be achieved with the Synchro AS in combination and working in a compatible way with the EVAC-POINT panel. So if the building does need to have a BS8629 system, you're getting the best of both worlds. And we've heard this many times from end users that they can't afford two systems. So whilst we're going through this transition of removing the cladding, the fire detection system is doing exactly what we expect it to do. It's detecting fires quickly. We don't have to have the automatic cause and effect in place. The cause and effect, i.e. the operation of the sounders, can then still be carried out by fire and rescue services. When the cladding is removed, there's no changes to the system. You just need to remove the devices that are no longer needed. So for example, in a wireless installation, you can have a very, very fast and efficient installation carried out very quickly and without any major disturbances. And that will give you the detection devices that you need to at least alert the fire and rescue services. Once the cladding's removed, those devices can be removed. It's just a simple subtraction of those devices from the system. And that's where we think that Kentec is providing the best solution for removing the wake-in watch, but also considering the future of that building, which may well still require a BS8629 installation. And we think that with a combination of EVAC-POINT and ekho, Kentec is positioning its installers and end users with the right products, supported with the right levels of training. And now let me take this opportunity to introduce Tim Yu. Tim is our product manager and he is responsible for ekho, and he's going to show you just how great this system is.
Now let's look at the easy panel, or as we know it in Kentec, the EVAC-POINT panel. In a secure box, if I open the box, you can see I have illumination, which shows blocks of 5 where I can set up my switches in accordance to what you need. Now, these are special build panels, so you can order the number of switches per your specification, should you require to. Now, on each of the toggle switch, which are big toggle switch, in case you've got big glove hands, we have an LED next to them. This will show and illuminate as soon as the toggle switch is being switched. And to turn off, you just flick the other way. As simple as that. As well as this individual floor evacuation point to be used by the fire service as a last resort, we also have general fault, general power, mute buzzer, and lamp test. That is all the functionality of the easy panel. In the actual field itself, in the flats themselves, we have wire sounders, or in our case, wireless sounders, because we are also focusing on the ekho system. And to operate the sounder per floor, all you do is to toggle a switch over. We shall wait for the system. As you can hear, the operation is simple and it's robust. The heart of the ekho system, we have the Kentec AS panel. This is networked by the loop onto a translator, and from the translator it is radio to each of my device wirelessly. So let's look a little bit more into our translator, which is where the intelligent bit goes. I will open up one up. You can see the connection is only through the loop, so this is a very easy to connect device in itself. And to clip on is a nice and easy product to install. Next, we have an optical detector. This is a quick install base with batteries for primary and secondary. The combination of the primary and secondary battery will last you 10 years for this device. Very, very useful feature to have. You have a 360 LED and a nice aesthetic design, which looks nice on the ceiling. Next to the optical, we have a heat detector. Very similar in terms of design and very aesthetic pleasing as well. Again, a 10-year battery life. Next to my heat, I have an optical and a heat detector, what we call a multi-criteria detector. You can run this as an optical only, You can run this as a heat rate of rise or heat fix. Again, a 10-year device in this. Next to that, I have a core point. It is a nice size core point, and you can buy an external tamper-proof cover for this should you need it to. We have here a input unit. It is very sleek and small in size. It is also configured to be triggered in multiple different ways. So again, flexibility is there. Totally wireless, 10-year battery. Here we have an output unit that is capable of switching mains should you require to switch mains. So again, 100% wireless. Once the building's cladding is removed, we can network the ekho system with the Easy Panel, and I shall demonstrate using a smoke canister. As you can see, the fire generated on the ekho system has clearly been transported over to the Easy Panel. And that will alert the fire brigade for them to not to evacuate the occupants of the building onto the corridors. As you can see from the demonstration, I have, in my opinion, the best part of the ekho system in my hand.
Fire, fire. Please leave the building by the nearest exit.
It is an optical smoke detector, a voice-enhanced sounder, a Part 23 beacon, and it uses a self-healing mesh technology, making this the most flexible and secure device in the industry. I will now pass you over to a presentation where we show the ekho and how it will work with your Waking Watch solution, together with our Easy Panel, and then we will pass on to the Q&A session, and I welcome your question. Thank you for your time and listening.
Fire, fire. Please leave the building by the nearest exit.
Hello everybody, I'm Jo Pickard, and a big thank you to Derek Hall and Kentec for a fantastic FIREX Tech Talk. Thanks to all of you for joining, and we're nearing the end of today's Tech Talks, but don't worry, we've got one more Q&A. Now people are joining the talk now, so pop your questions through the Q&A tab on the right hand side of your screen. You'll also be able to see lots of other people's questions in there, so make sure that you upvote it if you want it answered. Now, I'm very excited about this. We are joined now with Derek Hall and Tim Yu from Kentec. First time these guys are in the office, so it's great to see you guys. How are you doing?
Really well, thanks, Jo. It's great to be here as well.
Thank you, Jo. And same here.
Oh, brilliant. Right, we'll kick straight off if that's okay. So is it possible to integrate ekho with wired devices as well, therefore making it a hybrid solution? And what are your thoughts about wired versus wireless?
If I can take this one, Derek, it is absolutely possible to have a wire ekho and wireless. We in Kentec are promoting a wireless solution, and we'd be looking forward to any other suggestions going forward. Should an application is, you can see from the video that it is very flexible.
I think one of the great things about this as well, Jo, is that it really gives the installer huge flexibility about how they choose to use the EVAC-POINT with the ekho wireless devices. We see massive potential for this hybrid approach. It's going to be a combination of the two.
Well, we all need options, don't we? And to be able to give the customer that is really important. So fantastic. So you mentioned mesh technology in your presentation. Can you explain exactly what that is?
Yep. In a mesh technology, the sensor, or in this case, the devices themselves, chooses the strongest route back to the root of origins. So the more mesh node you have it, the more reliable that system becomes. Therefore, you put in extra layers of security onto your system. And from a point of view of life safety, this has become more paramount, especially from EVAC-POINT and from ekho point of view.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. So can you buy EVAC-POINT and ekho separately, or do they maybe come as a package?
You can, yeah. So the EVAC-POINT is a standalone panel that can work for a number of different protocols. So the Achiki and the Apollo, and also the EMS wireless devices. So we're kind of giving the installer the best of both worlds. If you want to go down the route of a combined solution with Kentec and the ekho devices, you've also got that option as well. So it's really driven by the installer preference.
I'm sure the installers are really happy about that as well, because they've got they're in control of that. So could an AC ever be able to be used by, say, buildings or owners or managers?
Yeah, the intention behind the EACIE panel was really for the operation and control by the fire brigade. But Kentec has always been involved in building these bespoke type of panels for sprinkler indication and also for evacuation control. So it could be driven by the end user and the building manager, or equally by the fire brigade.
Brilliant, thank you. So how important do you think it is for these systems to be open protocol?
That's a really good question, and I think as a manufacturer we've got to work this fine line between having really advanced technical products that are supported by installers that are trained by us. And we absolutely see the future in the fire detection industry and having something which is open for the professionals in the industry to choose the right products and deliver the right solutions for their end clients.
So what we heard you talking through the products and the benefits in the video, and what response have you had from the market so far? Is there anything kind of surprising or maybe unexpected as a reaction?
Well, I think the real big surprise about the initial BS 8629 standard was that it was focusing on buildings which were really associated with the cladding problem. So the product has been installed to actually solve a temporary problem. From a manufacturer's point of view, we looked at the long-term future of high-rise buildings also needing potentially to have a fire detection system, which is why we came up with this hybrid approach between reliably detecting fires and then also evacuating people via the manual override controls from the fire brigade.
That's brilliant. Tim, do you want to add anything?
No, I think Derek says it all. I think it's been very encouraging for the market to come to us in such a response to our products and in both scenarios.
Fantastic. So are the voice enhanced sounders suitable for high-rise buildings, and what are their benefits?
Yeah, the voice enhanced sounders is a particular interesting phenomenon. In studies, it is shown that 50% more people respond to a voice sounder better and evacuate the building much quicker, by about a third, basically.
Really?
So you are there, absolutely. So therefore, you are safeguarding people's lives by making them react quicker. Whereas a normal conventional sounder, a lot of people tend to ignore it.
Isn't that funny? I suppose it's human nature, isn't it, to trust and to be able to go towards a voice and listen to a voice. I think that's absolutely fascinating. Could these fire detection systems be used in tall multi-residential buildings after the remediation process?
Yeah, the idea is that with the remediation of the cladding.
Thank you.
That's okay. So potentially with high-rise buildings, especially the ones between over 11 metres and beyond with 18 metres, the the system may well stay in place to assist the fire brigade in evacuating. We do know that in Scotland is actually part of the law. So the EVAC-POINT panel will be quite prominent for those applications. Again, with the ekho wireless system, you're getting the benefit of having the evacuation side, plus in this interim period, the detection. So once the cladding's removed and the building is nominated to be safe, you can actually remove the detection devices at a later stage. So I can see a long-term future for EVAC-POINT and the ekho voice-enhanced sounders for those applications.
And that's what people are looking for, right? They want them to be able to be used moving forward. So is the VAD available in other languages?
The VADs are enabled at the moment by default English, but because our flexibility of the ecosystem, you can only actually record your own messages. So because the fact that you can record your own messages through the laptop without going through a studio, you can basically say any languages you want. So it's become a very flexible system.
Yeah, so really versatile. That's brilliant. As a building owner, how do I access the walking watch funding?
Okay, well, the information is all available on the government website. We know there's about £30 million available in funds for putting in these types of systems in the interim period. The remediation fund is now, I think, about £1 billion, and that's really about removing the cladding from these buildings at risk.
So guys, if you want to find out more about that, definitely go to the government website. There's loads of information on there. So you mentioned that the devices are available through the KIPs or KIPs. Sorry if I didn't say that correctly. What are they? Okay,
the KIPs are the Kentec installation partners. Now, these are a specialist network of installers that have actually agreed with Kentec that will go on a journey really associated with the training concept. Because what we want to do as a manufacturer is ensure that the installer knows exactly what they're doing, i.e. they know how to commission it, they know how to install it, and they know how to service and maintain that equipment. So the KIP programme, and it's on our website, kentec.co.uk partner section, we're inviting more and more installers to come in on board as well. You know, it's not a closed shop. We want as many installers out there trained and really competent on our products. And the more the merrier, actually.
That's brilliant. So where is the best to locate an EACI panel in a building?
Well, that'll be determined by the British Standard 8629, and it is very prescriptive about where you do locate these panels. What we do know from our research as well with end users and councils and specifiers is that these panels may well be in a locked compartment anyway. They might be in a special room. And it depends on the application, really.
Okay, brilliant. So guys, while we're waiting for a couple more questions to come through, we've got a few more minutes. Is there anything that you guys want to talk about that you feel that hasn't been covered in this Q&A?
It's a great opportunity, Joe, to talk about the ecosystem as with the VAD and the voice enhanced sounder element, because the VAD itself, which is the beacon element, is also an EN54 Part 23 approved device. So as a combined unit, you're getting the best of both worlds, really, with the voice enhanced elements of the device, but also knowing that it's an EN54 Part 23 approved beacon. So it can be used inside the flats and outside in the corridors, and that's really to enhance the overall notification and evacuation process. One of the other things we talked about on the presentation was the use of our VisionLinks unit. So VisionLinks is actually a communication device that plugs into the Synchro AS and the EVAC-POINT panel, and that gives additional information to the user groups. So when we talk about user groups, it could be the actual occupants of the building, it could be the building managers, or it could even be the fire brigade, by giving them additional information about what's actually happening with the system. So Tim talked about earlier that a voice message helps to evacuate people quicker. They respond to it better than they do a normal fire alarm sounder. With the Visual Links, you get an email and you also get an SMS message. And that can be targeted to the different user groups. It's really easy for the subscriber. If you know the number of that particular panel, you just text it or you just email it, and now you're subscribed. You'll get the information. So as a fire brigade are evacuating the building floor by floor, you will get the notification on your smartphone. And we think that that will enable the fire brigade to evacuate the building in a much more controlled way and a lot quicker as well.
That's fantastic, isn't it? What an amazing addition to be able to help with the safety and also to be able to help with the practicality of doing an evacuation. That really does sound fantastic. So what do I need to know to commission the EVAC-POINT system?
Okay, again, we based it around the Synchro AS technology. So the Synchro AS is a EN54 Part 2 and Part 4 approved panel. The minute we put it into that enclosure, we've taken the assumption that there'll be lots of installers already out there that have been trained to work on the Synchro AS panel. They already have the software, and actually it's a very easy jump for them to commission that panel if they already know our technology.
Brilliant. So are the 10-year batteries for the ekho devices available on the open market?
They are indeed. It is an open source battery, but we will prefer you to buy it from Kentec because we like to be sustain our customer and make sure that everybody gets the same type of standard batteries. Unfortunately, if you buy it from elsewhere, they could be staying on the shelf for much longer lifetime than we would like.
I think that's the same, isn't it, with everything? You should really stick to buying the product that you've committed to. So, guys, thank you so much for your time and for being so candid and open in this conversation. Thank you very much. Don't forget that registration will be opening soon for the next Tech Talks on the 27th and 28th of April. The date was slightly wrong before, so it's the 27th and 28th of April. Thank you again to Derek and Tim for your time, and to Kentec, and to all of you. Have a fantastic rest of your day. That's it for our Tech Talks today, and we'll see you all soon.
Thank
Thank you, Joe.